John Muller. Ladies and gentlemen, please. I should say Lions, shouldn't I? John.
Thank you, Wayne, for that very fine welcome. Can I just say at the start that at the end of the day, I'm an ordinary bloke. I'm a lion the same as you are. And I enjoy getting my hands dirty, doing the things that clubs do, that our members do. And it's a wonderful privilege to be here this morning. Thank you, District Governor Norm and Judith, for the invitation to be here with you. And thank you for the very warm welcome as well. I bring you greetings from Council Chairman Steve Boyce, the executive and the management of our Multiple District 201. 75 years of Lions this year in Australia, and this is your 65th convention. And it's just a wonderful time to be here with you. So thank you for that. Give yourselves a round of applause. 65 years of Lions here in this district is a great way to start. Somewhere here I've got a clicker, and I think I've got it that it will work for us. So what have we learned in the last little while of Lions? So let me share some things with you if I can, please. And somewhere I've got to go that way. So what have we learnt? Well, the world has changed, hasn't it? It takes more than a pandemic, though, to stop Lions' service. And we do know that Lions' kindness and service amidst diversity will see us grow and prosper. Do we all want to grow and prosper? Do we want to see our organisation keep going ahead? I'm getting some thumbs up. Of course we do. We want to be here, don't we, for the next 75 years. So we know that our community needs are changing. So what are the drivers of change? And I've just listed a couple of them there. It's the population growth, isn't it, within our communities? Have we kept pace with the growth in Australia, with the growth in Lions? The answer to that is no. We've got some work to do. We know that the demographics are changing, you know, the shift, if you like, from regional to larger metropolitan and city areas. And, you know, I was at the Canberra Convention some years ago when Dick Smith addressed us, and he talked about the kids that live in termite mounds, you know, living in high-rise buildings. It's a heck of a lot different to what perhaps you and I had growing up when we had plenty of room around us. The employment expectations, there's no guarantee of employment today, is there? I was talking to a young lass just as we were leaving Townsville yesterday. I've got to know her quite well through our association with, would you believe it, Bunnings and other places, but she works 6 jobs. So, you know, people don't have time to do things like we used to do, perhaps. There's that also expectation that, well, I'm not doing that job, I want something better. I've done all of this scholastic training, etc., and I want something different. Is it our culture? Is it a shift in part from that hard-working ethos that we might have had to one now of an entitlement? I'm entitled to this. Or is it that mix of cultures and races that we have within our communities? It's all relevant. It's the acceptance of responsibility. Somebody else can do that. I'm not doing that. It's not my job. Or is it that environment that there is a much greater awareness today? And I was heartened, very, very pleased that you have passed your waste warriors and moving on, because there's a far greater awareness of the need to protect the world around us. So most of you will know Barry Palmer. He's a very, very cluey man. He was the one who told me and told a lot of us that the only person who likes change is a baby with a soiled diaper. And isn't that correct? All right? Absolutely it is. We like to be in our comfort zone sometimes. So what about the timing of change? We do know we need to change, don't we? And when Sandpaper Gate hit the Australian cricket side, you know, some years ago, there was that feeling that what a bad time, but it's actually a good time. The coach of the time said that it was a great way to, or great time to implement the change that was needed. And sometimes we need those big jolts, don't we? What if we don't change? What if we stay the way we are? Think about your club. Think about you. How old were you when you joined Lions? Wonderful to see our first conventioneers on stage here this morning. So those first conventioneers, a challenge for you for next year. I believe you're going to a beautiful place called Kiama. Here's a challenge for you. You take a new member with you next year and you introduce them to that convention, because that will be a change perhaps, won't it? So let's consider the plight of the eagle. Can I please have some sound carol? Thank you. So, would you and I make the same choices as the eagle did? Thankfully, the eagle chose the slow and painful process. The eagle didn't have any life coaches or friends of lions round about to support them like you and I have. It relied on instinct. Now, do you believe, as I do, that if we as an organisation is to survive, we need to change and we need to find new ways to serve? Do you agree with that? We heard this morning, didn't we, of some of the new ways we can serve just by saving blister packs. So, let's find some of those ways. The secret to change is to focus all of our energy on the task ahead of us. We should respect those things that have worked in the past. It's set us up nicely, hasn't it? 75 years in Australia, 100 and whatever it is now, 5 years internationally, a long way to go. But we need to learn from the past, keep that which is good while building the new and finding new ways to serve. Certainly the pandemic has helped us in some of that. Just like the military operations in many cases, we've had to retreat, to rethink our activities, our meetings. How many of you have participated in virtual meetings now over the time? A lot of us have. Who still does use part virtual? I still am part of a virtual Lions Club, and many are. Wonderful to have my compadre up here from Lions on Oz. Look at that. How good is that? And that's the way that we meet, and we still do our business in an hour's time frame, quite comfortably. We needed to defend. So club care became very important, looking after our own lions first, making sure that they didn't feel isolated, supporting our community, etc. Innovating and trialling new ideas and projects. Who actually did a new project virtually or a fundraiser virtually while we were not meeting face to face? Some did. Who still does it? Some do. We've just had the Anzi-Pacific Forum in Cairns, and one of the forums that we had was a current governor this year, Daniel Marnie Elkins from Delaware in the US. And he came to us via the virtual means and encouraged us and showed us how they are doing some virtual fundraisers and things over there. Laurie Sheehan, wife of Brian, is also doing things virtually during this year while they travel the world. She's still doing her own fundraisers. So we needed to prepare to advance and move forward, get out of that COVID. Isn't it great we're here today, face to face? We could shake hands. We could listen to Wayne's jokes. But it's all a part of that coming out from where we've been and moving forward. So tell me, why did you join Lions? Going to join Lions?
Yes, my husband was a lion always. He passed away, and my 2 daughters are lions.
And the 2 daughters brought Mum along. Isn't that great at 99 years of age? Well done. Brian Sheehan told us, and I shared this with Annie this morning, Brian Sheehan told us that, he's comes from a long, long line of Lions family members. And his dad had passed. And his mum was still sprightly, and he invited her to join Lions when she was 98. And you know what she said? I'd love to, I'd be honoured, but I don't know if I can get to all of your meetings. Now, what a wonderful attitude. So everybody out there are plenty of people that we can ask, why are you still in Lions? Fun? What else? Service. Friends. We can go on and on, can't we? But why don't we invite more people to come and experience what you and I have got to experience? So here's a couple of things I think. We join Lions to make a difference, to help others. Those networking opportunities. I was just talking to past Governor Gordon during the break about networking opportunities. We can do so much more of that. A friend suggested it will be good for you. Let me tell you how I joined Lions. I was managing Westpac at a little country branch up in the remote part of the Gulf of North Queensland. And a customer came in after wet season. He shook my hand and said, congratulations on being our new manager in town. And he said, and congratulations on joining the Carpinteria Lions Club. I said, what the hell are you talking about? I was busy. I was an army reservist. I was working full time. I had 3 kids. I'd been approached by Lions and Rotary and Apex. And I'd always found a way to say no. But when I joined and I found this whole new world, I wished to heck I'd taken up the opportunity much sooner. So we all joined for different reasons. How do we expand our service? Well, we've mentioned before about adapting. The eagle had to adapt to live. So some of those old projects that we did, we still hang on to, but are they relevant today? Is that the sort of thing our members want to do? So discarding those old, no longer needed ones and implementing new ones that are relevant today or that people can do or that are needed in our communities. Attracting younger people and diverse group. Who's been in Lions under 5 years? Wonderful to see. How about just in the last 12 months? Wonderful, thank you. Who's been in more than 40 years? We have hands up. So Lions is for everybody. But when you joined 40 years ago, the demographics were completely different, weren't they? And the things we were doing were different. So engaging our youth, listening to what they want to do. Our Leos. People say that our Leos are the Lions of the future. They're not. They're our leaders right now. And we need to engage with young people. Find out what it is that they would like to do. Let them do the planning, encourage them, guide them, and then work with them on the delivery of that. And of course, we need clever and timely promotion about who we are and what we do. Lions are the best kept secret. Who says that? A lot of us. How many of you got Facebook pages? How many of you post every week something different on your Facebook page? Inviting people to come along to your next project. Who wants to go to a boring old meeting? Not a lot of people, but they'll come and help us in a service project if it grabs their attention. So, let's think about our local community. Do we put our local community needs first? I would hope that we do. We live, we work, we play, and we serve in that local area, generally speaking, but we are a global organisation. So think about what your members' needs are. If your membership is 75 years and over, what's the longevity going to be like in your club? But importantly, what can they do right now? Well, one thing they can do right now is invite younger people to come and join, can't they? You get those younger people in, or new Lions, let's listen to them. Let's find out what it is that they believe the community needs. Go and do a community needs assessment. Who does the burner banger at Bunnings? Who puts the blackboard out and asks people to list on the side there, what do you think your community needs? And then we ask them to come along and help us deliver it. What about the 70-20-10 rule of giving? Who knows what I'm talking about there? Some do, some don't. We encourage, and it's part of our national strategy, that if you look after your community will look after you as a Lions Club. If you keep them engaged, keep them interested, keep doing projects that make a difference locally, and then invite them to be part of you. So if 70% of your money's raised goes back to your community, or 70% of your effort is in your local community, that's what we suggest. 20% of what we raise, we've got lots of wonderful Lions foundations. Many times we'll be approached to help somebody do a little fundraiser for a kids' cancer project or something along that. But wouldn't it be great if we could service and provide the funds needed to keep our own foundations going first? So splitting 20% of what you earn amongst our key foundations that we have. The Australian Lions Children's Cancer Research Foundation, for example. Lions Hearing Dogs. All of those, you know, your own district, your own end districts foundations all need funding, don't they? And then the other 10% is that piece that we would like to give to Australian Lions Foundation and LCIF, because those two foundations are the ones that support us in our times of crises. Whenever we have an emergency, straight away funds can be made available, but they also support our projects and things. By partnering with them, we can do twice as much. So that's what we suggest. So we do also suggest embracing those local things in your community that fit within the global causes. Not asking you to do a whole lot of new stuff. Many of our clubs already do things that are part of the global causes. But promote at every opportunity. How are you doing, in actual fact, with your service? Right out on that far-hand side out there are the percentages. So if you look at the people that are served here, and this is the metrics for your district up until the 19th of October. If you look right out on that right-hand side, 71% of people served were in your local community activities. If you look at the hours that you spent, 81% were spent on local community activities. So you guys are well in front of that 70-20-10. The number of clubs reporting down here on the bottom, 63% is in front of the multiple district average of 51 and in front of the global average of 46. But it still is 37% of your clubs that aren't reporting. So those figures would be a lot higher if we could get every club just to finish off their projects and report their service. I commend your cabinet secretaries, your district officers, your global service team leaders that are working with your service people and the work that you do. Just like, though, when you finish that barbecue or that project and you are putting the gear away in the store ready for the next outing, so too, please finish the project by just taking a couple of moments and putting those details in about the service you do. So, what new and innovative projects are happening within N2? Well, I've listed environment at the top there. Let me ask you a question, though, a different way. What is the environment like in your club right now? What is your club doing to embrace new opportunities for service? And we heard this morning from Mick, you know, the wonderful things that can be done with the environment that all of us can make a difference with. At the last council meeting, we had a think tank at the end of it for a couple of hours and brought in a couple of young Leos and their parents and so on to ask what these young people thought of some of the projects we had and what could we do. One of the things that has come out of all of that is young people, family, like to get involved in doing things together, don't they? And part of that sometimes is perhaps cleaning up a waterway. You know, the wonderful project you've got in Canberra that you've been doing there, at Croke Place. Things like that, planting trees. Who remembers Dr. Tam when he was the international president and his goal to plant all those trees? Who got involved with that? It was quite an easy project, wasn't it? At the Multiple District Convention in Townsville in 2018, for my sins, I was the deputy chair of that. And I said to our committee, can we do a tree planting exercise? We planted 1,000 trees on the day before the National Convention, and many of our conventioneers got involved with that. It was wonderful to see the families come out and support us with that tree planting, and other community groups, partnerships. So what about if we had, on the first day of spring every year, that Lions in Australia spring into action to renew our green canopy and plant 1 million trees each year? Is that something that we think we could do? I don't know, but we won't know until we take it further. So what are the things that we are doing around diabetes? Who's getting involved this year in Lap the Map, getting out and doing some... Oh, isn't that wonderful? Pat Mills, where is she? She's not here, but I'm sure she'd love to know that we've got a lot of our clubs and a lot of our members out there. Good, healthy exercise is a great way to start. Hunger. We'd like to do a national project for hunger, but sometimes, we get the best results when we're doing things in our own local community. But what is it that you are doing that we could share with other clubs and other communities? Is there something that you would like to share this morning that your club is doing with the members here in the audience? Yes. Yes.
I'm Lorna from Canberra Valley Lions Club, and what we are doing there, pardon me, thank you. What we are doing there, we plan to feed or to hand out 50 Christmas Day packs for the homeless, where they will have, something for lunch, something for dessert, and like all of us in the afternoons, we're always looking for some munchies, so they will have some munchies in the afternoon. They can invite one of their homeless mates to sit in the paddock with them and have Christmas Day lunch. So that's underway. We did the shopping the other day, and I must say, we had fun with the photographer following us, and us girls giggling, and Pierre pushing the 3 trolleys. It was wonderful. So that's what's going to happen. And on Melbourne Cup Day, we're going to have a packing day with our fascinators.
There you go. Sounds fascinating. What a wonderful thing, though. Barry Palmer tells us that the greatest disease in our communities today is loneliness. And the homeless are part of all of that, aren't they? So providing lunch on Christmas Day. Where we lived last year, our community and Lions leading the way did a sit-down lunch for those who perhaps were on their own on Christmas Day. Elderly widows or widowers, or some people who were not doing it so well. Giving up our own time and then sitting down and having lunch with them. Doesn't take much, but it may be out of our comfort zone. But by crikey, it makes a difference to those on the other end, doesn't it? So there's lots of things we can do. Childhood cancer, I know that Ron and his foundation, the leaders of that foundation, are very, very active out there in supporting the work of cancer research for young people. But providing support to families as well that might be going through some of the dramas, some of the traumas. If you live in a remote area and you've got to move to a big city for some treatments and things like that, there's a huge cost. And the support that Lions can offer with that goes a long way. Vision, we do a whole heap of things. Humanitarian, local community and youth. What's one other thing you'd like to share that your club perhaps is doing in that general space in your community? Putting that service out there and combine it with compassion and kindness that defines who we are. It will invite and encourage others to join us, because great service means we need more members, which means we need more leadership training. So who will lead the change? It's the leaders, isn't it, at all levels? Well, that's what we think. But let me tell you, we are all leaders, and all individuals can make a difference, because strong leaders challenge us with new ideas, with compelling reasons, goals that we should be achieving. So what is our next big challenge? Do we simply want our organisation to be here for another 25 years? Or do we want it really to prosper and grow so we can continue to do more? Have you heard about our new latest challenge? Let me share it with you. At the Council of Governors meeting, our Long Range Development Committee suggested that we do need something to focus us going forward. We know that we are working very closely with the global membership approach, the GMA, to grow our districts so that we can continue our service. But we've got a big, audacious plan. Who's heard of the 30 by 30, 50 by 50? Some have. So, when I was a banker years ago and leading a sales force, one of our general managers came up with our BHAG, a B-H-A-G, pardon the French, a big, hairy-assed goal. And that was to grow our business and to find more satisfied customers. And there were rewards at the end of that. So that's what this is a little bit about. So it's about growing to 30,000 members by the year 2030. How do we grow? By finding new members. How do we grow fast? By creating new clubs. So Council Chairperson Steve put it in very succinct terms. It's 7 years until we reach the end of 2030. That's 7,000 new members in that time. I'm not talking about new members, I'm talking about a net growth of 7. We've got close to 12,000 clubs. If 1,000 of those clubs have one net new member each year, we're there. Think about your club 30 years ago, 20, 10 years ago. What was the membership numbers in your club? And what was the service capacity you had then? I'll bet you London to a brick on, in most cases, that the membership numbers in your club were close to twice what they are today. That be fair? In many cases? Yeah. Wattle Grove's been going 8 years. Your membership is more than what it was when you started, isn't it, Carol? Growing, doing service, different types of service. So, how good is Lions at achieving what we want to be? By the way, the 30 by 30 extends to 50 by 50, 50,000 by the year 2050. I'll be in a walking frame and Shirley will be holding the cane beside me because she'll be 99. Oh, sorry, you're not supposed to give away secrets. But I'd love to be there and be part of a celebration that says that we have grown our business. How good are Lions at achieving goals? Well, we know that we can achieve anything we set our minds to if we work together as a team. Why do we need new members? New members equals capacity for service, doesn't it? To continue what we do, to bring others along in our communities and to grow. We need those new members because there will always be hungry people. There'll always be disasters. We need to do more for the environment, for health pandemics. And so it goes. We know from the United Nations research they've done post-COVID, and Brian Sheehan shared this the other day, we need 40% more service now across the globe than what we did prior to COVID because people's needs have changed. So, will we get there? If we work together, we will. Yes, we can. Yes, we must. Because we use the slogan, don't we now? Lions will always be there for you. There's 3 things that we can never get back. Words. Never use hurtful and critical words. Time. Don't procrastinate. Do it now. Missed opportunities. How many times do we hear, I should have done that, or I wish I had done this? We'd like a second chance. So please, Spread the word. This is our time. Lions are back stronger than ever, aren't we? Yes. Are we going to have a real crack at this? What will be our legacy? I've just gone too far. What will be our legacy? I was there already. We'd achieved it. The future of Lions Australia is in our hands, Lions. That's yours and mine. Every one of us here. We've got a joint responsibility. We need everybody on board. Who's heard the terminology? The bus is leaving. Are you on the bus? Please, we want you on the bus. In the words of International President Brian, and what a wonderful charismatic leader he is, I've never seen anybody with as much enthusiasm and passion as what he brings. And he says, we are more than volunteers, we are service leaders and advocates for causes that matter in our community and around the world. And he says, our clubs bring together people from different ages, different backgrounds to make a difference. And his theme is, together we can, together we will. Thank you, Lions of N2, for giving me this opportunity, because together we can. Thank you.